December 2023 at precisely 11:18, returning home from Bush Library with my toddler granddaughter sound asleep, respectively thankful she did not hear me shriek when I received a WhatsApp text that left me absolutely bereft. Morning, family. Sadly, Benjamin Zephaniah has passed about 3 a.m. this morning, dawning on me instantaneously that this was a developing press story. My friend who messaged me assumed I knew, since this headline was now global news. I cried out to a Rasta brother standing nearby, "Brother Benjamin Zephaniah, the poet, has died." "What?" "No, my sister, this cannot be true. It was simply unimaginable to construe." So turning to Google for more information, The Independent provided this powerful confirmation. Benjamin Zephaniah, pioneering poet and Peaky Blinders stars, dies, age 65. A fountain of tears escaped from my eyes. Nearing the end of my journey, another passenger who looked like me placed her hand reassuringly on my arm in a bid to keep me calm. Intuitively picking up on my low mood, she asked, "Is anybody coming to meet you?" I assured her I could manage okay, though telephoned my husband just the same. Battling my distress as I called, he was not surprised at all, having just seen breaking Sky News Live that Brother Benjamin Zephaniah had died. Trying desperately hard not to weep, with my toddler granddaughter still sound asleep, I navigated the pushchair off the bus while thanking those kind travellers who made a fuss. Before reaching home, another text arrived from a counsellor colleague who sympathised. "Hi Grace, I'm so sorry to hear Benjamin, and send you my love." What an incredible man. How touched I was, my counsellor colleague reached out to me unexpectedly. Arriving home with my toddler granddaughter now awake, deluding myself, this must be some kind of mistake. That derision ended all too soon as I entered our living room to be enveloped by my husband's arms, who tried in vain to keep me calm. There in front of flooded eyes broke the news on Sky TV Live that Brother Benjamin Zephaniah, the poet, the writer, professor, self-proclaimed troublemaker, had died. Since that day, 7th December 2023, I spent each day reflecting on BZ's legacy, still trying hard to process this tragedy. The best way for me is through poetry. First, my deepest condolences I extend to Benjamin's wife, loved ones, fans and friends who will be experiencing unimaginable grief and a range of emotions, not least disbelief. I can but offer rhythm in words, a voice to soothe and to be heard, to share with readers, near and far, my reasons why I love Benjamin Zephaniah. Some aspects of our lives are similar. In infancy, writing poetry was my panacea to help cope with displacement, paternal death, educational underachievement, racist beatings, and domestic instability. I was politically active and published by 16. Loving lyrics, local libraries, and literature, dub poetry became a powerful educator. Against the backdrop of riots in Southall and Brixton, I encountered Zephaniah's first book, Pen Rhythm. Decades later, I learned from BZ exactly why this book marked a watershed. His rhythm and rhyme, rhetoric and style rejuvenated poetry and made it uniquely versatile. In the early 80s, when I was just 18, I was passionately writing all kind of things. So despite leaving school with 2 GCEs, I was politically active in Ealing's community. Through my friendship with the Alexander family who lived in the Ealing vicinity, I was introduced to the bookshop of the Huntleys, where I devoured dub poetry of Linton Kwesi Johnson and Benjamin Zephaniah, plus listened to speeches filled with zest and fire. Similarly, the Calendar family introduced me to Willis Wilkie, an Ealing community champion who supported black children's education by organising supplementary schooling, conferences and cultural events where Benjamin's poetry made perfect sense. So while race riots raged regionally, BZ revolutionised poetry outside police stations, on demos, dance floors and on TV screens. He connected with diverse audiences creatively, using his unique beat, and from the street, BZ's lyrics livened up what was once an exclusively academic feat. While Brother Ben was writing and fighting for political campaigns and attracting local, national and global acclaim, I continued to develop my poetry, which helped to soothe me from all kinds of personal and challenging calamities in the 1980s, 1990s and in the millennium. Then, in March 2007, when the UK marked abolition, after submitting a poem in a competition, Random House Children's Books with Mallory Blackman. To my surprise, The Awakening of Elmina won joint first prize, and I could hardly believe my eyes when my poem was published in Mallory Blackman's landmark commemorative anthology. Unheard Voices with writing and fiction includes the likes of Catherine Johnson, Alex Haley, Sandra Agard, John Agard, Grace Nichols, Brother Benjamin, James Berry, and yes, little old me. It wasn't my first published piece. In fact, I had 3 in print at just 16, but Willow Poetry was a vanity press. They ripped me off, so I was not impressed. Sorry, I digress. My point is, now I knew I was being taken seriously, that my favourite poet and me were now on the same page, so to speak, literally. Fast forward to 2009, my bestie May White invited me to Lincoln Book Festival. Brother Ben's poetry recitals, including Talking Turkeys, were simply magical. Apart from being a great host, he was so entertaining with his anecdotes. How we laughed and laughed when he told his captive listeners he had to perform in his plant-based slippers. Having forgotten to pack his animal-free footwear, being a vegan was a holistic, everyday affair. Best of all, I got to meet him at the end of the show, when all 3 of us posed for that special photo. I had already sent BZ an email about Wacky, so he suggested I bring our creative posse to see him perform at the South Bank that July. No surprise, 20 of us comprising young people, families, volunteer staff, collaborators, our esteemed elders, Jessica and Eric Huntley, did just that. And we laughed and mused, absorbed his lyrics and heartily clapped. A couple of years later, I was publishing the poems, prose and art pieces of our wappy writers. I emailed BZ at Brunel University to see if he would provide a quote for our publicity. Our first book, Soul of a Child, I sent him a digital copy. He responded rather quickly, "I've been reading wacky poetry and I love it. That makes me a bit wacky too." His quotes circulated widely. I and Wappy were filled with gratitude. This landmark watershed marked the beginnings of my pen, or more appropriately, email friendship with BZ. From 2011 through to 2023, through email correspondence mainly, Brother Ben, by invitation, would endorse creative projects political campaigns and publications, and offered his philosophy and reasonings in all kinds of seasons, adding his voice to my Save Ealing Library campaigns. In 2018, helped to prevent closures, contributing a chapter in WAPI's 2018 ACE anthology, gave the organisation heightened exposure, visiting Ealing Central Library to celebrate his 2014 publication, Terror Kid, and allowing 15 youngsters to entertain and interview him, reinforced a community love and a lasting self-youth appreciation. In 2012, I ran the Haven of Words at Keats House in Camden, when Brother Ben was the poet in residence, out of which 3 WAPI participants had their poems in his Sweet Beats for Keats editions. Apart from encouraging young people to enjoy spoken and written word, BZ empowered me to write and to be heard. In 2017, following the tragedy of Grenfell, my poetry contest submission, Bittersweet Carnival, was anonymously shortlisted by Brother Benjamin in Hillingdon's Literary Festival. I was honoured to see it published in Ordinary People, Exceptional Lives, which I performed at Brunel University with him right by my side. Throughout our email conversations, I learned a bit more about Brother Ben and appreciated the efforts he made, despite being a busy global sensation. Like while in China in 2016, he sent a poem to my very own wedding. I too would often send BZ the odd poem or two to mark his birthday on the 15th of April. Even though I knew he did not like birthdays very much, he appreciated my messages. That was just his way. One message sent in the pandemic cuts really deep. As I reflect, I feel myself weep. It's strange how, as we get older, funerals tend to bring distant memories of a family together. But like you, I always say you must make peace with family members, because you never know when the last time you'll see them will be. June 2020. Of course, Brother Benjamin was so prophetically right. I, like so many, lacked total insight into an unexpected development that left his life so tragically curtailed. On 7th December 2023, loved ones, families, friends and fans were forever derailed. I'll always remember BZ, my beautiful pen friend, and give thanks to him for bucking the trend through his poetry, prose and political campaigns, for being a pioneer in Black British culture and a national treasure, for his contribution to human rights advocacy and an indelible legacy that will continue to exist in his works left behind, because he truly was one of a kind. For Black History Season 2024, Ealing's Central Library opens its doors once more to host, this time, his memory of this special literary mentor. WAPI youths, artists, esteemed guests, local councillors, Qian, his wife, Ealing's wider community with Akuba, celebrated the life and works of Brunel Zephaniah, the poet, writer, professor, self-proclaimed troublemaker. I thank BZ's wife, Qian, siblings, wider family and friends for ensuring his revered memory never, ever ends. Thank you so much.
Attention, attention, I need assistance right here in a Babylon, blood is thicker than water, yeah, but love is so much stronger, yeah, here we go again, trying to find a solution to the problem. Fingers when we should all come together so we can solve them. Yeah, this is no time for shame, crying out about some of the leaders. In this time of blame culture, don't get caught up in the structure of negative others. Negative others, my brothers, I say, blood is thicker than water. Yeah, yes, love is so much stronger, so much stronger. Blood is thicker than water. Yes, I said love is so much stronger. Yeah, are we better than them who shout peace only to want more violence? Violence is silence, yeah, yeah, yeah. Their goals are destructive, not preaching what they practice and keeping silent. Silent is violent, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm talking to you, my friends, filled with anger, envy, and jealousy. Yeah, please take some time, reconsider. Let's think about the future for all of our children. All of the children, them my friends. Blood is thicker than water, yeah, yeah. But love is so much stronger. You know that blood is thicker than water. Yes, love is so much stronger. From the east to the west, love is still the best. From the north to the south, love is what it's about. Blood, 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 blood. Love, 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 love. Here we go again, finding solutions to the problem. You and I, we must try. Why point fingers when we should all come together and try to solve them? Two heads are better than one. This is no time for shame, crying out about some world leaders, leaders, misleaders. In this time of blame culture, don't get caught up in the structure of negative others. Brothers and sisters, my friends, I say, blood is thicker than water. Opera DK, Gariamini. Love is so much stronger. Moase, Ihunanya, DK, Gariamini.